All right. Hello. I'm Dr. Charity Clay. I am an assistant professor at Xavier University of Louisiana. It's an HBCU in New Orleans, Louisiana, here in the United States. I teach sociology and African American and diaspora studies. I was just so honored to be chosen to participate in the CCYK project. Specifically for me, because I think it is fundamentally important for HBCU students to interact and engage with students throughout the diaspora. A lot of my students do not know that Colombia has such a large Afro-Latino population. So the opportunity to build connections with universities there was something that I had already had an interest in. So being invited to participate was amazing. I had never been to Colombia. My Spanish is I hear it decent, I read it well, but my speaking is not that good. So I was a bit nervous, but the hospitality that I was shown from my colleagues was amazing. The actual working sessions were so amazing. It's very rare that you get so many different professors from different disciplines, humanities and STEM and social sciences and languages, all in the same room to kind of come together and be able to collaborate and share our ideas. The main objective I know is to kind of plan some activities for our students, but just engaging, listening to people about what they teach and their research. It was also just enhancing and encouraging for me. I think that sometimes as colleagues we are so kind of siloed or isolated in our own work that we don't get to enjoy how amazing our colleagues are. So I was just really excited to be able to engage with faculty from all over Colombia, right? From different cities, from different universities, different types of universities. And I really, really, really thank the staff for the way everything was organized. We were able to enjoy each other's company, but stay focused on creating opportunities that we could actually take back to our universities and implement immediately with our students. In addition, I was able to actually meet with some faculty, take tours of the institutions and kind of learn more about the educational system, which is kind of I didn't so much expect that, but it was a real pleasure just to see what the campuses look like, what kind of initiatives are happening, what the cafeterias are like, the classrooms, to kind of get a feel for essentially what the students may be experiencing in a future exchange. In terms of areas of improvement, I can't think of any because it exceeded my expectations. I think that, of course, having more participation, if possible, from different types of schools, figuring out maybe what type of initiatives we can set up before we meet. So when we meet, some of that prep work is done already. Um, Maybe some more activities for all of us. I know being in Cali, we were doing a lot of work, but we didn't really get to do anything to see the beautiful city of Cali. So maybe a few more social activities, but I can't think of anything that I would improve um, in my experience. But I went in really, really hoping and looking to get the best out of it. And I was able to do that. The accommodations were amazing. Um, Everyone was just so warm and welcoming. Like I said, the nervousness and the anxiety I had about the language barrier um, was really quickly removed. Even though my Spanish is not good, helping me speak Spanish a little bit was really helped me kind of step out of my comfort zone, and kind of put me in the shoes of my students. If my students are visiting Colombia or studying Colombia, what does it feel like for them to be out of their comfort zone and speaking a language that's not their native language? So getting that experience has kind of helped me shape the ways I understand what my students would experience in an exchange. um, I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate to be able to connect with some professors, to actually do some virtual exchanges last semester. So I was able to do some virtual exchanges where, you know, my students were able to create assignments to teach Colombian students about some of the social issues we have in the United States. We had a professor talk about some of the issues specifically with Afro-Colombians and land, which connected to some discussions about farming and gentrification we had here in the United States. We had some other things planned, but my university had a security issue where all our systems went down, so we weren't actually able to complete the exchange to the extent that we wanted, but my students still were able to engage a little bit, and that's a really big thing to say we were able to accomplish. The next thing for me going forward is actually having an exchange. I actually have one developed and created, collaborating with a professor at UTB, a couple of professors at UTB in Cartagena, to look specifically at Maroon communities and the influence of Afro and indigenous communities within the development of Cartagena. So I'm very excited about doing that this summer. I think for me, the next step is one, to collect some data, right? To collect data from the students who experience the exchange that I'm planning, to see what the impact has on them to actually have this exchange, you know, what it's like for them to engage with their peers, to learn from scholars of different cultures, to have these cultural exchanges where they can add their perspectives. I want to hear from them what impact it has on them immediately, and then hopefully kind of follow them through the semester to say, you know, what did you learn? How has it changed your ideas of travel, and things like that. I also would like to impress upon my university how important and significant these type of exchanges are. I've been fortunate to have partners through CCYK at UTB who have extended the most gracious hospitality. They've been helping and putting together planning and, you know, how many days and, you know, how many credits can this count for, in terms of doing a lot of the legwork to make these things happen. I would love for HBCUs on our end to kind of match that energy and host some of my Colombian colleagues, you know, on campus, maybe not specifically my campus, but at HBCU campuses, to show them the opportunities that Colombian students may have studying here in the United States. I would love for the exchanges to actually go both ways. As much as I love the opportunities for my students to travel to Colombia and study with the students and the scholars there, I would also love the opportunity to have some of those students in my classroom and teach them and have them contribute to discussions and things. So for me, I think the next step is really just encouraging my HBCU and other HBCUs to take advantage of these opportunities to reach out on our side. And like I say, you know, bring some students in or bring some faculty in to talk about different ways that we can collaborate in the future. So that's really it. Again, like, just honored to be a part of such an amazing community. Excited for the next step, actually bringing students to Colombia and having those exchanges. And for me, it's really important that the students engage with each other. Unfortunately, we have a lot of study abroad models in the United States where our students have these isolated experiences with the tour, kind of like a tour guide, where they're doing cultural things, but they're not talking to anyone of their age in these countries. They're not going through classes or things. So that's the most important thing, to be able to provide opportunities for the students to engage with each other. Hopefully they'll stay connected, you know, with social media and things like that. But yeah, that's really it. The next step, like I say, my next step is creating sustainable programs of exchange, where students from the United States can come to Colombia and vice versa to study collaboratively and just build the larger community. That's it.